You ready?
Oh, good.
All right. Now call to order the City Council meeting for June 13th, 2022. The time is 7 p.m.
All right, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we commit this meeting to you. Come and reveal your will in every aspect of our life and ministry. And as we discuss the affairs of this city, we ask for your will to be done. Show us your purposes. Enlighten us that we may know how you want us to accomplish your tasks. We desire your glory and blessing in all we do. Direct our thoughts, words, decisions, and actions toward the right path and help us stay on track. Let your will be done as we plan and make our decisions this evening. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
For all.
All right, Ben, please call the roll.
Member Orr?
Here.
Member Matheny?
Here.
Member Shroyer?
Here.
Member Warren?
Here. Here.
Member McLeaster?
Here.
Member Revolt?
Here.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second to approve as presented minutes from May 16th? But we will motion and approve May 23rd public hearing, the May 23rd City Council meeting, and the May 23rd monthly finance report.
I'll make a motion that we pass those three listed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Do we need a motion to table the minutes?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we table the minutes from May 16th pending a correction.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to recognition of the public. At this time, we'll begin recognition of the public. Each individual will have 5 minutes to speak. The time and the rules will be displayed to the screen on the audience's left. When it's your turn to speak, please come to the podium and start by stating your name and address for the record. Right, sorry. Did I say left? Sorry.
Good evening. I am attorney Christopher Swing with the law firm of Rouse McDowell. I'm here this evening on behalf of Allbrecht Incorporated and Acme Fresh Market Stores, 1474 North Main Street. I'm here this evening to provide public comment on agenda item 7A, the ordinance purporting to amend chapter 1136, specifically to add gasoline stations as an accessory use, requiring a conditional use permit in the Main Street North Gateway District. As this city council is well aware, the zoning code was overhauled and amended effective 2020. At that time, the city did not see fit to allow. There are 5 primary districts. It is not only not only is it not a conditionally permitted use, it is not whatsoever as it stands currently. Main Street Center, Main Street North, Main Street South, Main Street North Gateway, Main Street South Gateway. In regard to the proposed legislation, there are issues in terms of whether or not it has even fulfilled the submission requirements. I have not seen a statement of the reasons for the proposed amendment. I have not seen a statement of the ways in which this proposed amendment relates to the city's master plan. And that's because it doesn't. This is a textbook example of spot zoning for a contemplated singular use developer that's coming in behind it. And we know that that's minor. And that's for development about which the public hasn't even seen a purchase agreement, or at least a signed purchase agreement. But yet they're asking you to amend the zoning code, something that was thought through, something for which money was spent. There were significant investments, time, thought, and resources to develop that plan. And the gas station doesn't comply with the spirit and intent of that newly enacted zoning code. In fact, those districts were established to promote the development of a higher density, more consistent, walkable urban fabric. and attract increased investment in commercial corridors and nodes. A gas station fails to do that, as does a Myers big box development. Moreover, a gas station doesn't advance any of the following under 1136 of your zoning code. It doesn't advance a mixture of storefront, retail, professional offices, and dwelling units. It doesn't advance buildings with active building set sidewalk. It doesn't advance pedestrian-oriented scale development with sidewalks. It does none of those things, and in fact, it's not really an accessory use at all. And if you just look at the definition of accessory use in your own zoning code, and just because you passed legislation, that doesn't make it so. If you look at 112502B11, it defines a building accessory, subordinate building detached from but located on the same lot as the principal building, the use of which is incidental and accessory to the principal use. A gas station is not incidental to the operation of a Myers box discount grocery store and hard sales. If you look at further at 112502, If 115, accessory use means a use of land incidental to the principal use of a lot or building located on the same lot. This proposed gas station is not ancillary to, it's not incidental to. In fact, Merriam-Webster's defines incidental as being occurring merely by chance or without intention or calculation. This is purely intended. This is purely calculated. This is not an incidental use. And in fact, my suspicion is that Meyer won't do this deal without the gas station. So it runs clearly afoul of that express provision in the code. Now, you've already heard from Joe Albrecht, with Albrecht Incorporated, the landowner. You've heard from his brother, Nick Albrecht. You've heard about their concerns about it cannibalizing existing business. We're asking you to slow down. We're asking you to retain an independent third-party neutral to evaluate the economic impact on existing businesses as it stands. What you're about to do is to set a very dangerous precedent with spot zoning. You're effectively establishing patchwork zoning here in the city of North Canton. After you just spent all this money, time, and investment to research and to put together a master plan, you can't make up the rules as you go along. You can't do indirectly what you're not allowed to do directly. And you're certainly not and shouldn't do it for the sake of political expediency. And for those reasons, I respectfully submit that if and when this comes before council for a vote, that you reject the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address council tonight?
Murray Tripp, 1127 East Maple, North Canton. I believe that the DORA is now working in North Canton is not benefiting the city one iota. I believe it's opening itself for ordinance violations and is just not doing the city what has been told to you folks before. So let's start tonight. Let's start with DORA cup sales to participant holding permit with the ordinance which the ordinance states must be sold in lots of 500 or more cups. I found one violation which one participant purchasing 250 cups not meeting the 500 requirement. An explanation on this transaction was given to me by Council Clerk Ben Young. While his remarks were appreciated, the fact remains that this was a clear violation of the ordinance. Rules, like you said, can't be made up as they go along. 2, Ordinance 28, 2021. Change the DORA boundaries, which in my opinion are not being followed for events such as the 720. I don't believe the parking lots behind the buildings on Main and West Maple are included in the DORA boundaries. In fact, check the DORA containers on West Maple and notice where they are located. 3, some sales of 500 cups to St. Paul Church. Why? To me, this may be an indication they have been using the DORA concept in their church area, not designated in the DORA boundaries. 4, all special events on Main Street generally start at 10 a.m. Ordinance 2021 changed doors times to 12 p.m. from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. There may be an out for the mayor to change times and dates, but the ordinance is very confusing. And I do see the possibility of violations in the ordinance. 5, I believe a change should be made to ordinance 2021 in section 5, where it reads, the resolution shall take effect, not the ordinance should take effect. An auditor may find this ordinance was never approved. 6, on April 4th, Councilmember Revolt, assisted by Council Clerk, presented an evaluation report for the 4 participating holders, 2 permanent and 2 temporary. He stated their records indicated the city sold 10,450 cups to permit holders, which equated to a conservative estimate of over $52,000 in additional commercial activity for these businesses. It appears these figures are predicated on the sale of each and every cup of these cups at $5 a cup of beverage. Simple math, 5 times 10,450 equals $52,250. I have reason to believe these figures are highly inflated. Records I have received from city personnel indicate the city has sold 8,750 cups to its participants, or a difference of 1,700 cups. Records show 1,000 Dora cups sold to Hollenberg, 500 cups to Pobs, 500 Dora cups to St. Paul's, 1,750 Dora cups sold to Chamber of Commerce, with an additional 5,000 nuclear plastic cups with a Dora label pasted on. This should equal 8,750 cups. So I would expect the commerce activity to be much less, since none of the participants have made any purchase as of last Friday. This tells me each participant has some carryover for 2022. How many is anybody's guess? Paths did advise they had 250 or 50% of their inventory on hand. So are my comments tonight earth-shaking? Probably not. However, Councilmember Orr, who initiated the new DORA legislation, and Councilmember Stroya and
Wrap it up.
Teacher and
We're over 5.
about 2 seconds. Who last week stated this is a successful program. I contradict that. I have made a presentation tonight that contains information worthy of discussion to table this ordinance for further review. Thanks, Mr. Clerk.
Thanks, Larry.
Lat 801 Brian. I have a suggestion regarding the charter changes that will be on the November ballot. To be an informed voter, voters want and need to know the original language before voting on the proposed changes. I know when voting on the last changes, people would ask me, what does the charter say now? I had to say, I don't know. This information should be disseminated to the public both electronically and in print, and might help clarify the ballot language. Would be good communication with constituents. And just for example, I'm just looking at 8D where it says, for the purpose of simplifying the notice requirements. What does that mean? What was it before? What do they want now? Just so people know what they're voting on. And I know ballot language you can't put everything in on the ballot. It would be a small part. I do think this information should be available to the public. I can't stay for the rest of the meeting, but I will be anxious to listen to your comments.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Sue.
Okay, anyone else wishing to address that?
Microphones are ringing.
It's ambient. It'll be picked up on here.
Okay. My comments are in regards to certain proposed charter amendments. Chuck Osborne, 307 Fairview Street, Southeast, North Canton, Ohio.
Thank you.
My comments are in regards to certain proposed charter amendments that are to have their first reading tonight. It was obvious to me after observing council discussions and reading a portion of the meeting minutes of the Charter Advisory Board, referred to as a hybrid, that many of those who participated had little to no understanding of the workings of our city government. For me, the sole purpose of this current effort is to double the terms of North Canton elected officials from 2 years to 4 years. All other proposed amendments are distractions from this main goal. The same tactic was used 5 years ago during the decennial charter review process in 2017. The holy grail that year was to remove the charter requirement that a member of council attend meetings of the city's planning commission and city's CBA meetings. At that time, Marcia Keesling was required by city charter to attend planning meetings, and Stephanie Warren was to attend ZBA meetings. For several years, neither complied with the city's charter to attend such meetings, and years of truancy by Mrs. Keesling and Mrs. Warren were ignored by city council. At last week's council meeting, a member of council asked how appointees are chosen for the commission, but did not get an answer. Let me tell you, Charter Review Commission members are appointed by council, 2 by each member, and 3 by the council president. This comprises a total of 15 members of a Charter Review Commission. 5 years ago, Mrs. Warren and Mrs. Keesling, between them, appointed 4 members of the 2017 commission. The appointees of these 2 always absent members at planning and CBA meetings were able to then lobby for the commission's recommendation to remove that requirement in the city's charter. The first time this change had been presented for discussion in 2017, the commission declined. At a subsequent meeting, weeks later, the proposed change to remove the attendance requirement was presented a second time and agreed to by the entire commission. Political loyalty among members of council resulted in council placing that question before voters. Currently, North Canton's charter specifies that the makeup of the commission not include individuals who hold municipal or appointive office. Yet, in violation of the charter, the 5 members comprising membership of this year's hybrid charter advisory board included the city's finance director and the city's council clerk, who chaired the meetings. Does changing the name of this body from Charter Review Commission to Charter Advisory Board automatically undo this charter requirement? In evaluating the proposed charter amendments, each and every member of council should be able to explain the reasons for any changes and the benefits of those changes for citizens. I heard no logical reasons supporting many of the proposed changes to the city's charter. In the February 14, 2022 Charter Advisory Board meeting minutes, Council Clerk Young begins with the first proposed charter change. That is altering the terms of office for elected officials from 2 years to 4-year staggered terms. I quote, "This is one of the ones I collected beforehand, and it was also submitted by a member of the public during our public submission phase. I received this suggestion from a number of different elected and public officials, and the idea is that elected officials will stay around longer." Quotes. I could understand that office holders want longer terms. It benefits them and them alone. But do longer terms benefit city residents? I think not. Currently, the city's charter specifies a 2-year residency requirement before a citizen can run for elective office. Given that requirement, under the 2-year terms of office, which North Canton has had since the adoption of the charter in 1961, residents could find themselves having to live in the city for 4 years before they could run for elective office. Under the proposed change to a 4-year term of office, new city residents could find themselves having to live in the city for as long as 6 years before they could run for office. How is this change beneficial for the citizens of North Canton? Congressional representatives hold 2-year terms and have been doing so for over 200 years. Running for election allows candidates to learn more about their community as well as get to know city residents in the course of a campaign. It allows residents to participate in what we all treasure as the democratic process of our government. 4 years is a long time. I would foresee office holders resigning during such long terms. At that point, remaining members of council would appoint a replacement, leaving citizens out of choosing their representatives. That council-appointed replacement could then run as an incumbent, thereby edging out a citizen who had waited 6 years to run for that very office. A 4-year term for mayor would work, but let's maintain terms for all 7 seats so as not to diminish all hopes of citizens that they could be council
Let's wrap it
without
up.
waiting as long as 6 years. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Chuck.
you. Anyone else wishing to address council tonight?
Hi, I'm not sure if you guys remember me, Teresa Meisner, 604 Hillcrest Avenue. I am the one that, with many others, had severe damage for the flooding. I am just basically here letting you guys all know I'm not going anywhere because obviously Mother Nature will never go anywhere. I've had this major problem 2 times now, 11 years apart. I know it's gonna happen again. I don't know if you guys quite remember, about a week later, there was a downpour again. I stood staring at my front door, nervous. Luckily, it just came to about the sidewalk. But literally, I have each and every one of your cards. I was about ready to call you and tell you to come on over and watch the show because it is crazy. So I am starting to get bills. Only got a couple, but I have many coming in, which I will be sure to be making copies for each and every one of you because I'm gonna need some serious help. So basically, I'm gonna stick around, see if I can maybe talk to Jamie,
Absolutely.
see if there is anything you guys are trying to figure out, look into. If not, I'm going to bug you until you do, because this is a major, serious problem. And I can't live this way. It's not right. It's not, it's just not right for my husband and myself to have to do this, and my neighbors. So just wanted to let you know, I'm here again. Okay.
Thank you, Teresa.
Okay. Anyone else wanting to address council tonight? Okay, moving on to old business. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 24-2022?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending chapter 1136 Main Street District's regulations of the codified ordinances of the city of North Canton, specifically accessory uses as listed in section 1136.05, in order to add thereto gasoline station as an accessory use requiring a conditional use permit in the Main Street North Gateway District.
Okay, Daryl? Is Daryl on mute?
Can you hear me now, Matt?
Yep, can hear you.
There we go. Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. This is the second reading. I appreciate Mr. Swing's comments this evening. I thought his argument was rather artful, but let's be perfectly clear what the purpose of Mr. Swing's presence tonight is, and that is, as he indicated with his own words, is to kill the Meyer project. I dispute his assertions, and I think there are others, including our legal counsel, which would also disagree with his representations. So it is, if there is anyone else on council that wishes to add something, I think this would be an appropriate time. I look to my left, I look to my right. Matt, I think you'll have to recognize someone if there are individuals who wish to speak.
Anyone else wanting to comment?
No.
All right, so there's been a motion to read. I'll make a motion to adopt this second reading.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 7B, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 31-2022?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of North Canton to reclassify 2,850 parcels in the city of North Canton in accordance with the amendment procedure set forth in chapter 1182 of the Planning and Zoning Code in order to add to the zoning classification thereof source water protection zoning overlay district in order to protect the drinking water resources of the city of North Canton, Ohio.
Okay, Water, Sewer, and Rubbish, Jamie.
All right, thank you. This is also up for its second reading. We have discussed this at multiple times as we brought it to us, as we got the zoning map back from the planning commission, and this would be adopting the map. So at this point, I would move that we approve the second reading. Unless there's any other questions or comments.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to new business, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 45-2022?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
Ordinance amending ordinance 55-2020, establishing a designated outdoor refreshment area, DORA, in the city of North Canton in order to expand the hours of operation and area thereof.
Okay, Daryl.
Great, thank you very much. As you may recall from our committee meeting, this particular amendment does two things. It expands the hours to include Sundays and Mondays, and it also expands the map to include the parking lot behind St. Paul's.
And Daryl, that would include the hours on Monday and Tuesday. Sundays.
That is correct. Thank you. So the expansion of the hours came at the request of Councilman Orr. I am going to assume that he has received some input from businesses and members of the community to do just that. And the expansion of the record should reflect that the expansion of the map came at the request of St. Paul's and Howling Bird, who are in fact members of the community, and certainly Howling Bird has benefited from the DORA legislation.
Yeah, Daryl.
Is there anyone else who wishes to add something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to add something. I guess just so it's clearly stated that entities that do have events there prior to these changes, and I fully support these changes, they have been doing so legally under a temporary permit. So I just want to make sure that's out there. It's called an F permit. So I just want to make sure that people understand that it is signed off by the city, the property owner, and the chief of police. So it is legal. Yeah, it's legal. So, and the other thing is, I don't know if our math is incorrect, but whether it is or not, I think even 8,000 cups being sold is a resounding success. I think that this is a great opportunity. It's great for entities like the Chamber of Commerce for the events that they have. In fact, I think they're having a cruise in or something. I don't know if it'll be
July
at door
16th.
time. Yeah, for Howland Bird is having that. So, and then of course 720 Market this weekend. So, I just want to make sure that that was brought up as well, Daryl.
Do we keep track of the cups each year? How many, we sold last year, and are those cups turned back in? And are they reassigned new cups in 2022? Would be my question.
I think they're
The cups are,
The cups are theirs.
they're there.
They're there, so.
Whatever inventory they may have left over, they would use
following year. We should note that there are, many more events scheduled this year than there were last year, so.
Right,
Yep.
I know we're talking about an Oktoberfest. The library has a list of things going on down there and stuff, so.
Mhm.
All right, great, thank you.
I want to point out just one simple clarification. It's not $5 a cup for the
No.
beverage. It could
Right.
be $8 for a glass of wine versus $5, $6 mixed drink.
Mixed
Who
drink,
knows? We
yeah.
don't know.
That's a really good point.
We sold
That's
beer
gonna
for
be
$8.
nice.
I got
Yep,
a
and the right
$16
side, for
drink
sure.
Thursday.
$16?
$16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, yeah,
Jeez.
So there are
Yeah.
different prices.
there are different prices.
Wow.
So we sell the cups to the individuals for $1,
Yes.
correct?
Or
A little.
is it
For a
even
little
77 cents or something?
Yeah. It's not,
Right?
We sell them at cost.
Okay.
So I think something that's interesting about this is, again, the Hallenberg and St. Paul's came to us, and were asking for the St. Paul's parking lot to be included in the DORA map. Because Hallenberg has an event on July 16th, something that they're doing to try to, gather people, build community downtown, but they've had to rely on a nonprofit organization to get an F2 permit in order to be able to do this, which then prevents them from making all of the money that they would as a local business who should be benefiting from the DORA, because a nonprofit's going to instead, which awesome for the nonprofit, but it's a headache. I mean, applying for this F2 permit is, it's doable,
you do it a
but
month or so in advance, so it's
yeah,
a lot of
it's-
paperwork.
It's a lot of paperwork, and I personally would love to see us get this changed before July 16th. I don't
Yeah.
want to throw a wrench in all of this, but personally, I think that would be ideal. But that would mean we have to pass an emergency, right?
Yes.
Yes. And I'm just one person, so I'm just making sure everyone is aware of that.
We'll have an opportunity to hold a third vote. You could amend this on June 27th to include an emergency clause, or you could extend it out to July 11th and include an emergency clause. And if you did so, it would be effective upon the mayor's signature on July 11th.
Well, the mayor could also, right, how they do it now with the mayor, he's able to sign off on stuff.
I think he,
It's an
I
F
think he, I
permit.
think,
It's on the F program,
No, it's an F permit.
F
That
permit.
is what I don't think he can,
I think what John's getting at, the mayor can't change the boundary,
Correct.
only the time.
Only the
Right.
time, okay.
So
Yes.
The mayor could not unilaterally say.
Yeah.
St. Paul's parking lot.
so to Christine's point is that if you want to include St. Paul's parking lot for July 16th, you'll need an emergency clause either at the second or the third reading of this ordinance.
We would need to have an emergency clause on the July 11th meeting.
There you go.
And I
Okay.
think that the organization would have already applied for the F permit at that point.
yeah, that's a
think.
good point.
So I'm not sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that would
Okay.
really help,
And
but
it's 30 days in advance, I think.
yeah. But next time with this
Not
change,
just the emergency clause.
No.
No, they
to
would have
apply
already
for
had to
F permit,
apply.
it's like 30 days in
Yeah.
advance, 30 or 45, I can't remember.
They've probably already taken care
Probably.
All right. Well, I think the other point that I would make again is that in the opinion from some quarters, this does not benefit the community. Clearly, this is being driven by the community that sees a benefit in the DORA. And having said that, if there are no further comments, I would make a motion that we adopt the first reading of ordinance 45-22.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to 8B, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 46-2022?
I'll make that motion.
second,
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance authorizing the appropriation of funds of the city of North Canton to be appropriated for current expenses during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022.
we discussed this. Gina, was there anything further you wanted to discuss or no other changes? Okay, there's no other changes. I move to adopt.
Second.
Go ahead, Daryl, you gonna say something or you just,
I was just going to say yes when the appropriate time came.
okay? So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 46-2022 under the suspension of the rules?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 8C, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 47-2022?
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I want to point out that the following 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 readings will be 6 or 5. 1, 2, 6. Readings, they'll be required to have a 2/3 vote. So, John, go on.
An ordinance to
Okay.
submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of altering the terms of office of elected officials of the city of North Canton and thereby establish 4-year alternating terms beginning on January 1.
So
John,
we talked about this last week in the committee of the whole. The mayor and the council at large would be the first section, and then the council, 4 council wards then would be the second one. Most cities, you gave us a statistic tonight about cities with a charter like that, they're mostly, what is it, 64 or 72%?
You can't be heard back here.
64 or 72% of cities who have charters like us have 4-year commitments.
So 64% of cities nationwide have 4-year terms for their council members, and 80.8% have staggered terms.
So I think it's well overdue. I think it would be a great thing for us to do, and I make a motion. Go ahead and move forward with this.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 48-2022?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of simplifying the notice requirements imposed on the clerk of council for special meetings of city council.
John?
Currently, I think how it's set up, Ben has to hand deliver.
I am supposed to hand deliver, post on your door unless you tell me not to or unless you show up.
So we're getting with the times here, and the emails and stuff, I think will work a lot better with this. So I move forward. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to address something that Ms. Platt brought up. As far as ballot language, we have been advised, and if you look at the draft in your packet, to put in the ballot language by our legal counsel, the full
Right.
original text and the full new text.
Yes.
Whether or not Stark County Board of Elections lets us do that is yet to be seen, but we are trying.
I knew that. Great.
Good info.
Thank you, Ben.
I just remember she pointed this one out
Yeah.
specifically. So that you know.
Yeah.
Well, we had talked about that last week too. And yeah, those are supposed to, but still, with that being said, I think we should move forward with this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 8E, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 49-2022?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of clarifying the legislative process of the city of North Canton and establishing distinct differences between ordinances and resolutions.
You know, we talked last week about this, in depth. And again, the ordinances and resolution, two different things. So, I really think we should move forward with this as well.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Hey, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 50-2022?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of eliminating the requirement that legislation be published in a newspaper.
Again, we talked about this last week in committee of the whole. Newspaper is really expensive. Not everyone gets it. Ben posts this in 3 or 4 different places now.
Currently, the full text of any ordinance passed or resolution is generally available on our website the next day, unless the mayor hasn't acted on it yet. We do publish in the newspaper, we put out the council bulletin. And then you could always make a public records request if you really wanted, or by law, the record of ordinances and the record of proceedings must be open for inspection during business hours. You could just come in and look at the book.
Seems self-explanatory.
Yep.
Move to adopt. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 51-2022?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of eliminating the budget deadline of May 15th for revenues and June 15th for expenses.
Again, we talked about this in the past. Were we supposed to add, the budget would have to be passed by the first of the year? That was gonna be added onto this?
It is.
It is there.
It is there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory again.
The amendment, written by our attorneys says by December 31st because
Right.
it has to be in effect for January 1st. So that is a slight change from what you all discussed on the floor, but same function.
You have anything to add, Gina, on this and make your life a lot happier?
Move to adopt.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 52-2022?
Second. No, first. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of permitting council to call charter review commissions more frequently than every 10 years.
Again, we talked about this. Right now, how it's set up, it's on every 10 years from year 7.
Yes, every year ending in 7.
Every year ending in 7. So there are times where I think we will need this for them to review and go from there, so it's pretty self-explanatory, and I think we should go ahead and vote on this.
Move to adopt.
I'm for it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to ordinance 53-2022. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 53-2022?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Dave?
An ordinance
Oh, Ben,
amending
sorry.
chapter 155 personnel regulations of the codified ordinances of the city of North Canton, specifically section 155.09 leave of absence provisions, subsection C vacation regulation, to amend the vacation accrual method for full-time exempt personnel.
Sorry, Ben, I keep trying to skip you there. David, go ahead.
So this is an ordinance that is actually a benefit for city employees that are not currently under a contract. And it's also a benefit to the city and our finance department. This allows employees to take vacation time in 15-minute increments. So if they don't need several hours, they can take 15 minutes. That helps staffing for all of the departments. It also allows the accrual of vacation time to take place as they are paid. So instead of earning all of their vacation at the beginning of the year, vacation time is earned with each pay. Did I miss anything? I think that pretty much covers it. Is there any questions or comments or concerns with this? If not, I hear none. I make a motion that we pass ordinance 53-2022.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to department reports. Catherine.
Thank you, Mr. President. J.C. Fair started tonight, so we're gonna see a lot of people in that area. 99-degree weather on Wednesday. Dogwood was packed
Oh my
today.
gosh.
Will be even more packed on Wednesday. You got the fair parking lot that's filled with the rides. So a lot of activity. And the fair, J.C. Fair is Monday through Saturdays. We have 7:20 on Saturday. So we're gonna have a lot of people coming to our community.
Mhm.
Good problem to have, right?
Oh, so.
Today, Mayor, I'm sure is gonna talk about it, when Mayor and I joined with the Chamber of Commerce, the ribbon cutting for Charlie's Subs. We know everybody's been very excited for that to open, and they opened today. They're a great minority business owner, husband and wife team, and real excited for great business. It's already been open and people have been coming, and just one other little note after, day or a week before that ribbon opening, this wasn't a ribbon cutting, but Patrick and I stopped by Sprinkle City Cupcakes that moved down here in West Maple, and they're doing great business in the former, what was Cheese and Crackers Deli, so they're doing great, bigger space, they expanded and have food, we grabbed a bite to eat, and what they're doing too, you always say, Matt, shop local, buy local, so they sell their products, and they have M&H Beans, which is also a new one going in behind Pat's, it's coffee roasting place, and they're selling their coffee. And then in their cabinet, I saw Lee's Bees. Remember, Lee's Bees was a small business that was right by the Howland Bird in the back, and it did shut down. It's home based now, but they're selling their products and the honey products and
That's
things.
great.
Okay, so just I really like that the owner said we all got to support each other. Small businesses have to help small businesses survive. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Gina?
I just wanted to touch on the income tax, give you a quick update. We're seeing about a 10% increase over last year. Our deadlines have normalized, so a pretty good stable number at this point. We are still tracking refunds, work from home refunds. Well, keep you updated.
Patrick? No report. Ben?
This week we completed, or last week rather, we completed our entry-level civil service exams for fire and dispatch. Everybody passed. At the end of the month, we have our sergeant's promotional exam, and that's through the end of our testing. At least for this current season, might have more testing in the winter unless exceptions are given for split.
Thank you. Council reports. Let's go with Ward 1 first. Jamie.
Gonna get the mayor.
Oh, sorry.
We might.
Go ahead.
No, really, just, again, we've had several opportunity here to have several small businesses opening up now with Shell Coffee, Tremont Coffee, and the Pink Beauty Bar down on South Main, I think. And of course, Sprinkle City moving right over here. So small businesses is coming back in to North Canton. And Teresa, yes, we're still aware of your situation, and just not yours, but others in the city. And I believe that we are looking at a number of ways for how we can help mitigate anything in the future. Where that takes us, I'm not really sure, frankly, but we're still looking for things. So your words are not being forgotten, okay? And that Rob's not here, but I want to thank Rob for our streets are getting repaved on schedule. Catch basins, storm drains are being repaired before paving is taking place. So, in regards to the Charter Advisory Committee, I do thank the people who volunteered their time to sit and make suggestions and present those here tonight for council's review. So I do thank those citizens who did come forward so that they would serve on that committee. So, thank you.
Okay. Let's go to council reports. Jamie.
All right. Well, I think Catherine brought up the fact
Oh,
that
That's right. We should have you
Yeah.
sit up here, but go ahead.
Do you want me to just stand at the podium?
Oh, you can stay. You're
Okay,
fine.
okay. So I want to thank everybody for letting me come and do a quick report on what's going on at the chamber, just to let you know what's going on in the city. So just to talk about, I know we talked about a few of the small businesses that are currently here and just started, but I do have a few that are actually planning on starting too. But we have the Steam Powering LLC, which is on South Main, and they cater to young children. And you can go in and set up times to let your children go in and play in their different areas. It's a mother and daughter who own the business. They're from Jackson. And I just want to say that I went in and have spoken to them a couple times and went in on the behalf of the city as well prior to the city going in. And they felt so wonderful about being here. They mentioned that being in Jackson was not one of the best experiences they had, but coming here, they really felt welcome. And are even talking about being a part of Main Street Festival, so we're really excited about them being here.
Carrie, can you just tell me the acronym? A lot of people are very confused on what's the.
So it's science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Yeah.
And we did a little thing on the city Facebook page.
Yeah.
So that we could say, here's what it is, because people thought it was vacuum cleaners or something.
Yeah, and they have all different rooms with different activities in them, so it's really very hands-on, very nice.
Can I ask what the age groups that they're catering
So
to?
I think it's 1 to 8. Yeah. Then Sprinkle City moved from cheese into the new cheese and crackers. Mission View Church had their grand opening and they're very happy, and it's absolutely gorgeous on the inside if you haven't been yet. Shale Craft Coffee opened. We did the ribbon cutting today at Charlie's Cheesesteaks, and he's super excited to be here. He's an entrepreneur and would really even like to open up another business here. He loves the city, so
that's great.
he's very excited about getting more involved. Tremont Coffee opened. Then we also have a local food truck called Flip and Fry. They've been at some events, and they're going to be going into the old Contessa's. And they're opening a Filipino food restaurant. So we're very excited to hear that as well. They've done really well with their food truck, and now we're looking to expand a little bit more. So, and then we have New Berlin Brewery, which will be opening up on North Main, right in the Marx Plaza. The family is from North Canton. They've lived here forever. They're having a few problems finding some technical pieces for some of their equipment, so that's why there's been a bit of a delay, but they're really excited too. And then M&H Beans Coffee, which I know a lot of you are familiar with. They're actually going to be setting up their bean box, which is their trailer, because they aren't opening up their doors yet, but they're doing that starting this week, Mondays and Fridays from 7 a.m. to 11. So you can always stop by and say hi to them as well. I know that council got information about the contract that I have signed with the city to help with some things. So I just want everyone to know I'm already having conversations at Walsh University about hopefully setting up a meal plan that maybe these students could come into the city and use in our restaurants, which would be really great to get them more involved and more entwined in our community. And I've also been speaking with a lot of our local businesses about getting together and having a meeting with city officials about things that they want to see the city do for small business. And hopefully we'll have that planned for the first one in July. And really hoping that these kinds of conversations will turn into even more people wanting to come into the city and open businesses. The other thing I wanted to just report to you is I'm part of NEFCO on their board. It's the Northeast Ohio 4-County Regional Planning and Development Organization. And there's really great people at the table. And so I would love to be able to bring information to you that I think would be great for the city and for us to get involved in. So I'm always keeping my ears kind of open for that.
I never got a name. I don't know who she is.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Carrie Burek, I'm the president of the North Canton Chamber, we met last year.
Yeah, you should know that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karen. That's great.
Jamie.
All right, third time's a charm, but I'm sorry I cut off Carrie. So that's great to hear these updates about these small businesses. I'd wanted to go to Charlie's ribbon cutting today. I was unable to, but wish them and all the others that have changed locations or come into town well. So kind of wanted to, Catherine, you touched on the fact that it is JC Fair week, which is frankly kind of one of my favorite weeks of the year. Maybe I'm biased as a former president of the organization and now a life member of the group. Just a little bit about what the JCs do. The JCs are responsible for the annual Special Olympics that we actually just had here in May. A lot of people don't know this. They put on the July 4th parade and the fireworks. There's lots of adopt a family events and other events that they work with throughout the year, Safety Town, a number of things and more charitable endeavors. It really is a great group of young professionals. And what many people don't know or may not be aware of, they might just think, oh, hey, this random fair just shows up on 7th Street every year for over 50 years, I might add. But that is their number one, actually, let me rephrase it, it is their only fundraiser. So by buying tickets, by buying ride passes, that helps the JCs and all these charitable endeavors. It's open 6 p.m. nightly. Another thing that helps raise money for the JCs at the fair, and I'm going to ask Ben to share a picture. They have a dunk tank, and so I got a few pictures from last year. So as we can see, that is Mayor Wilder in the dunk tank with Chief Kemp cheering him on. And I was working the booth, and I think I let kids go up there and hit the button one too many times. He did get a most dunked award. And and actually Carrie was in the dunk tank as well. And then, of course, we also had Chief Kemp in the dunk tank last year. I am excited to report, well, actually, first, I'm sad to report Scott Hawes from Plain Township was in tonight. He's out in about 3 minutes, so I don't think we have any chance of going there and dunking him tonight. But Thursday from 6 to 7, we can see Chief Kemp in the dunk tank. 7 to 8, we can see Mayor Wilder, and I myself, if you ever wanted your opportunity, here it is. And I was told they might even be able to accept credit cards if you really want to dunk
Wow.
me. 7 to 8 at the JC Fair. A couple other things, they will have live entertainment. Whiskey Bound on Friday night, and on Saturday we'll have Scenic Route, and I want to say those started at 7 o'clock as well. So support the JCs, support local businesses, and that's all I had from my report this evening.
Perfect week for the donkey tank with the heat we're going to have.
That's exactly right. So,
David.
Okay, so as part of employees and safety, North Canton Police Department just appointed their new part-time dispatcher, Carlisa Singfield Webb. She was sworn in on January 2nd by Mayor Wilder, and she is a great addition to our dispatch team in helping. Pardon? Did I say July? Oh, how about June? How about June? I got the name correct this time, and that was a great challenge for me, is making sure the names are correct. It's important that employees are recognized, and I think that as part of the committee chair, that's something that I continually want to bring up, and I want to do a much better job on name recognition and actually pronunciation. So the only other thing I have is I'd like to challenge City Council to sit back and look at these 6 charter review recommendations and these 6 items on the ballot. Is it going to be too much for the voters to absorb? And should we narrow that down and pick and choose some ones that we want to move forward to the voters this time? So maybe the next reading, we can have a little bit of a conversation on that. But think about that in the next couple of weeks and see what your thoughts are. That's what I have to report.
Thank you. Stephanie.
Dave, I think we've had brought that up before too. I know I mentioned it, John, when we were talking about that. And I think seeing how people get voter fatigue. And as you keep going down ballot, it just gets harder and harder. And if I want us to be able to put both of those, what it was before and then the new, but I can't even imagine how long that would be, and then what goes at the end, and are we able to, at that point, say which ones we went first, second, third? Can we do it like that, or no?
We could functionally do that by the order Kevin or I hands them across the counter to
Okay.
the board.
And then, yes, okay, so yeah, I think we're on the same page and just kind of thinking about that. One thing I want to try not to do is when anyone gets up and speak is discredit those that maybe have volunteered or been appointed to different tasks that we assign them to. So for the Charter Commission, for people to say that those that were taking part of that had no idea what they were doing, I just don't think it's the temperament that we want to have in the city, and it's hard to find people that want to do anything, serve on committees or take time out of their days to do anything. And so I hope that when people get up, they appreciate those that have spoken and served, and they're learning just like everybody else. And there were some really good amendments brought forth for that charter committee, and all we can do is keep helping people, and hopefully they'll keep volunteering. But it is a challenging task to get people to volunteer. Someone had also brought up something about the past and political appointees, and there was a term he used responding saying there's political loyalty. I don't know what that means in a city like North Canton. I don't know what anybody has to offer, what we can give, what we can promise, and that just isn't how this organization has ever been. I've served on it for 10 years with a variety of people. It's just not here. And it's interesting that people would try to say that that's what exists. I don't even know what everybody's parties is. So the political loyalty is another falsity and just something that hit a wrong chord with me. That just isn't how things are done. So we are paving in our allotment, and I could not believe, I've never really truly seen all the equipment that is needed for paving, and it was a fascinating task, and I am so proud of what we've done in our city. We have cities around us and townships that don't get paid to do this, and people are so envious that we have these streets, and so I'm thrilled to be able to do that. Half of our allotment is getting done. It's been a long time since we've had any roads in our allotment done, but that was really fun to see. And then lastly, we've had some nuisance, and I know it's something that we talked about a lot with our director of administration and with our city engineer and Mr. Van Gundy. And I'm just, again, another area that we're working on. And I had called Patrick last week, and we were talking on the phone, and I think you were out there by that afternoon. Mm-hmm. And I just appreciate that when you're willing to do that. Mm-hmm. Ben followed up on a conversation this week, and someone had put in a complaint, and we said it's done, like it's been handled. So I just want that recognition to know that we really are trying and changing a lot of the city nuisances. So thank you. And it's hard. The grass grows really quickly these days. And it's hard to stay up on top of everything. And thank you for coming again this week. Your comments are not unheard. And I used you as an example for a lot of people I talked about, and the pictures, and I've told people, and started a GoFundMe account. I was thinking about that. So I was thinking, because of all the things that people support, that why wouldn't we want to support our own grouping of people, and that maybe a citywide GoFundMe account would be something.
Well, my friends are throwing a spaghetti dinner.
Okay.
Would-
But a GoFundMe account, have you seen those?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that might be interested, you know, that just hear about it and it gets a social media blast, and someone has a lot of money and things could maybe be distributed. I don't know.
Right. It's been brought up, but
Okay.
I'm not really good at that stuff.
Okay. All right.
When is the spaghetti dinner?
Yeah.
July 23rd at Jackson French Church. That's where I go to church. Yeah.
All right, Ward 4, John.
Well, again, thank you for coming. Last week, Pat gave a plan on how he does everything, and I think you'll be quite happy with that plan and stuff of that nature. Pat and the mayor, thank you so much. There's a lot going on in the city. We're seeing roads done, we're seeing stuff torn down, a lot of action out there, and the workers are all working hard and stuff. So thank you again for that. Carrie, thank you. All those new businesses coming in and stuff of that nature. Good job. Keep up the good job here. Quiet in the ward right now, so that's all my report is, except for, Stephanie, I sort of agree with you about the vote, all these things on. Do you know, or maybe you could do some research, what's the most we've ever sent to the elections to put on? In the past, over the years. Are we in line? I know it's all the townships and everything to go on elections. The more there is, the cheaper it is to put them on. So maybe if you could, not that you don't have enough to do, but maybe find that out here in the near future. That's all I've got. Thank you very much.
John? Daryl?
Well, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
We can.
Great. Well, first of all, congratulations to Ben. I think he may have found the solution to the acoustics issue. I can tell you that the sound is really very, very good this evening. Apparently, it is so good that you can hear the screams of delight of the 2- and 4-year-old that I am with this evening. And I can assure you that there are reasons why old men do not have young families. I want to come back to the charter just for a second, and I think it's really important that we pause for a moment. I want to follow up just a little bit on what Stephanie has said. Let's remember that we are a home rule community, and as such, we have a charter, a constitution. That constitution is approved by our citizens, and from them, we draw political authority. They loan it to us, in effect. The commission requirement, the 10-year decennial commission requirement, is there to make sure that the citizens review that commission from time to time. They stuck it in for 10 years. It's important to understand that there is no prohibition within the charter that prevents the council from introducing and presenting on the ballot charter changes, which it has done historically. So what we have in this particular case is something of a hybrid, if you will. And that is, we had a member of council, we had the clerk, and we had citizens. The whole purpose was to make sure the process was transparent and gave a nod to the community. Minutes were taken, verbatim transcripts, etc. So the idea was to work through this in a way that was responsive to the community. And I think it's really important that as this council or future councils go forward, they understand that you're not prohibited from, and there's nothing wrong with bringing changes to the voters, to the citizens from whom our authority is derived. And it's best, I think, as we look at these particular changes, to have had citizen input. And I don't think it's reasonable for us to expect that every citizen is going to have a command of the nuances and intricacies of municipal government. It's a learning process. But as someone said, this is how you get people involved. And let's not denigrate. I think we owe John Orr our gratitude for filling out this committee, and for Ben for delivering a product on time, ready to go for November. So that's all I've got. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Derek. Christina.
I think I appreciate Carrie being here from the chamber and hearing about things that are happening in the community. And I think what I'm starting to recognize, and hopefully you all are too, is that we're really building community here. And I think we have always had community, but I feel like there are these pockets kind of popping up. Like on 7th, I continue to hear such high praise about the Possibility Playground. I'm looking at Catherine because one of my friends said to me the other day, like, that Catherine woman really hit it out of the park with this. I'm like, yeah, she did. Like, it's incredible. And the pool had record sales, and the JC Fair is there, and there's just all of this like activity. happening, and I'm really proud of that. And then I think over near Price Park is another area where the park has always been busy, but we're using the Civic Center. We've got the farmers market that we're going to start offering programming targeted to older adults and seniors there. Sprinkle City's moved over there. Mission View's there. I feel like these places that have kind of sat vacant or just maybe not had the success that we would have liked are really starting to again. And then downtown, I mean, we've got what 2 720 markets in a month. We've got this summer series happening that's a partnership of multiple businesses and organizations in the city. And then we've got all the events that the chamber puts on and that other organizations put on. And I think the Dora is a huge part of that. I really do. We've seen it happen in other cities. I'm glad that we're not falling behind, for fear of, I don't know, things that aren't happening. So I'm really proud of that. I don't take, any credit for it. It's happening on its own with the help of our administration and leadership, but I'm just really proud of it. And then Teresa, thanks for showing up. I will be the first person to say, we're not forgetting about you, but I fully believe in advocating for yourself. I get it. I'm that person too who's going to be hi. Yeah, so I understand, but know that we're not forgetting any of you. And these guys certainly aren't forgetting any of you. I don't know if you got to see Patrick's presentation. Was that last week? Mm-hmm. Yeah, last week. Look it up on the YouTube if you can. It was really interesting and what he's working on. And yeah, so it's, there's work being done. And then I don't know who all really cares here, but I will be out on medical leave, starting tomorrow, for probably up to a couple of months. But because of the way that the break falls, I'll only be missing, I think, a committee meeting and 1 council meeting. So I'll call in if I can, but probably be out. And that's all.
Thank you. For the flood victims, we're not going to forget about you. And I think we all have faith in the administration and the great job that they're doing. It's exciting to see these new businesses come in. So I love it, especially their mom and pop places, which I love to hear. I do take offense to any negativity about the charter committee, because if you look at the people on this committee, these were pillars of our community. These are not just, pick and choose type people. They were very, very important people in our community. And, if you slam this committee, you're slamming people like Miriam, who has probably more knowledge than anybody in the charter around that I know of.
Excluding Miriam.
Well, you had a,
Okay.
Go read the meeting minutes.
well, you had a girl who had a degree in urban development. You had another person who was a.
I have never heard or seen any of these people.
It's not your turn to speak.
Well, you're not.
It's
you
not.
know,
And
you don't
if
know
you
everybody.
haven't heard people that showed up, you don't know the pillars of our community. I can't believe you said that.
You don't know our chamber
That's
president.
ridiculous.
No more.
Well, Chuck, you don't know everybody.
So,
Please quote this. You don't know our chamber president, Mr. Osborne. That's a shame.
So,
Exactly.
so we had a pharmacist whose family owns a pharmacy here in town. We had a retiree we had one person from every ward. How much more diversity do you want?
They knew nothing about our city government process.
All right,
Well,
so-
I'm sorry for that, Chuck, but they were a great group.
Yes,
One opinion.
pillars of our community.
President Stroya?
It's my turn to speak. What is everybody doing? It's not question and answer time. It's my turn to speak.
No, we didn't.
I did not. You guys started talking on the turn. Let's bring it back in order. It is the council report, and it's me who's speaking.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And that being said, I'm done. So.
I move to adjourn.
I do move to adjourn.
Oh, wait, we're going to talk about
Oh, gotcha.
in meeting.
Do your meetings, Mr. Stroya.
Got excited. Okay, so June 20th is the Juneteenth holiday. Coming back to June 27th is going to be the committee of the whole meeting.
We will have a committee, the developer who needed paperwork emailed it to me during the meeting.
Okay, do we need to double that meeting? Is there,
That's what I meant by committee if needed, yeah.
Okay, all right. So
So we'll be committee and a council.
do we want to, okay, so we'll have a double meeting there, followed by the July 4th break. And then the 11th will be our final meeting before summer recess. So.
Perfect.
That works for everybody?
Wait, do you need on that, so we are meeting on the 27th?
Yes.
There'll be 2 meetings.
There'll be, yeah, 2.
I am gone. I don't know if I can call it or not. And she's gone, so I don't know if we need, is there anything we're voting on in emergency?
The ability to call in ends the end of
July
this month,
1st.
so yeah, so that you'd not be able to, I mean, you could call in, you can participate, it just doesn't, you can't vote.
On the 27th.
27th.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking, my fault, they were talking July. Yes, you're correct.
Okay, so any questions, comments on that? I move to adjourn.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I thought you were saying July. I'm like,
No, there we go.